Evening, how's it going? Here for another late night stream. Let's take a look at a few stocks that reported earnings today. And like always, guys, feel free to post questions on stocks you guys want to take a look at. I live stream here on YouTube every Monday to Friday at 9 o'clock when the market opens, right before the market opens, right? And I'm also streaming a few days at nighttime around 9:30 Eastern time for those that can't make it in the morning. So let's see. Feel free to just let me know what stocks you guys want to take a look at. But let's just see what happened in the overall market today. So like always, let's just take a look at what earnings we had today. Today we had Square, Roku, Peloton, right? We had Beyond Meat and Dropbox. Some crazy impressive earnings. I do think I'm working on the Square video. I really do like their earnings. So that should be out tomorrow morning, hopefully. But Square's up a nice 2%. It's still lower than where it was at this morning, right? So Square, it's crazy, right? We had a really red day today. But stock is up 2%. I really did like their earnings. Roku, I think, reported some great earnings today too. Not sure how many of you guys are in Roku, but right, Roku did after hours. It's actually higher than where it was before it opened. Today it's up 9%. So Roku's still going pretty strong. Hopefully we don't see what we normally see, where it's great earnings, after markets seem to move pretty well, and then we end up seeing a stock price drop later on throughout the day. But we can see Roku was good too. Let me see Peloton, right? Peloton had the whole thing with their with their treadmills, right? That definitely impacted the company recently. But look, after hours, the company is up 5%. I wonder what was the bottom of yesterday. So about $80. So like always, guys, feel free to let me know what stocks you guys want to take a look at, if any. Feel free to just say how was your day in the stocks today, right? It's been pretty crazy for growth investors. But overall, the map doesn't look too bad, right? I mean, we had Microsoft, right? Microsoft, everything was, it seemed like an overall pretty green day, right? We have Microsoft up, Apple, Google, Facebook. Things turned around, it seems, especially at the end of the day. Berkshire up 2.4%. PayPal was up 1.8%. I know they reported great earnings. Activision, right? Activision was up 3%. And EA Games were up 2.5%. It seems everything's up except our growth stocks. But luckily, I do have some of these positions. Are you guys excited to see? So tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Let's take a quick look. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm working on the Squares video for tomorrow. So that should be up tomorrow, probably shortly after the market opens. And tomorrow we also have a few earnings. I think the only one I'm super excited to see will probably be DraftKings, right? DraftKings is reporting tomorrow. So I want to see how that's doing. I do have it in my portfolio. So feel free, guys, if anybody wants to take a look at any stocks, just let me know on the comments, right? What's going on, Electric? How's it going? Crazy day, right, Electric? How's your position going today? Right, it's just Kim, exactly, right? That's how it feels. It's crazy. That's how it feels. It's everything is green except our stocks. All right, Kim. The overall map just shows green all around. And that's right? It might not be too bad to have at least some positions in right, some stronger markets, right? So I have, for example, luckily I'm in Google, I'm in Facebook, Microsoft, Apple. Revolve earnings. Did they just report earnings, Taco, or are they reporting earnings tomorrow? Let's see. I'm pretty sure that's Revolve, right? The super. Oh, it seems like they probably just reported earnings. Stock is up 2.5%, right? Oh man, why does it look like that? Are you in this stock, Taco, or you just want to learn more about it? So I forgot what Revolve Group does. Did anyone make any purchases today? My portfolio took a hit, but I don't feel anything emotionally. You're just emotionally broken now, huh, Kim? Yeah, I feel. HB, skills, please. HB, I just did a video on skills. I'm not sure if you're familiar with my channel, HB. I actually just did an episode on skills 2 days ago, right after their earnings. I mean, I don't think, right, if there's no fundamental changes from the company that has happened from yesterday that I did that video, HB. Overall, this is a company that I think for the next few years is still going to be very, very volatile, right? This is a company that I do hold HB on skills, but it's more for the long term of things, right? The future potential that this company can do. For the moment, it does look a bit scary for investors that are looking at it as a company now. But I'm kind of looking at it for the company in the future. Kim, yeah, no. Well, hopefully, eventually, you just become emotionally bland, right? And just don't feel anything at all. Stock Invest, you bought Coin and Shop. Nice. You know, Shop is one I've actually been looking at. I kind of been thinking about that one to add some more. Coin, not too much. Right? I understand the bullish thesis for Coin, but just not one I feel comfortable yet. Not comfortable, just one I don't want to see too much in my portfolio right now. So you purchased Electric Soldier. Oh, nice. Corsair, Tattoo Chef, Fubo TV, Unity, and IPOE. Electric Soldier, IPOE is SoFi, right? So you got. I feel like those are some pretty cool plays you like. You got. I keep saying I'm gonna do a video on Corsair. Corsair, right, is definitely doing pretty impressive. So that's a video I have to work on. Electric Soldier for you. The other one's Tattoo Chef. I like. I don't follow Fubo or IPOE too much, but if it is SoFi, I've done a few. I always forget the SPAC, but if it is SoFi, I do believe I enjoyed that one a bit. So Kim Jr., do you know what's happening overall? I'm not understanding what in the noise. What is the noise right now? Is it because of taxes? I'm Kim. I feel like it's just so much of everything, right? Many spooks of interest rates are moving are moving people outside of kind of growth stocks and focusing on companies that are making money now. Then you have the whole reopening play, right? That's also happening. And then I feel like it's just a bunch of I want to say those are probably the two main things. Redfin, Catherine, dropped 15%. No way. Is it still down that much? Holy smokes, it did. Redfin is probably one I do enjoy. I enjoy this one a little bit more than Zillow. I did a video on them. And that too, right? I don't know if it's people going into crypto, but right now the whole crypto market is booming. So it could also be that, Kim, right? I'm not too sure what's actually happening. For me, in the long term of things, right? And I say it's noise, right? In the long term of things, I'm happily investing in companies I believe will do well in the future. Also, lack of hedge fund inflows. Electric Soldiers, are they inflowing into different markets? And HB, are you a shareholder of Skills? What did you want to know about Skills? If I may ask. Skills is definitely one that has very I in that recent video, HB, I kind of talked about the bearish and the bullish sides of Skills, right? I definitely enjoy Skills for future potentials, but I can definitely see the bearish side of it right now. Just crying, it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing, right? Let's just close your portfolio. Right. Make a rule where you only look at your portfolio once a month or something like that. Hmm. So yeah, are you guys, and is anybody excited for some of the earnings happening tomorrow, right? We have DraftKings. I think that might be interesting. Square, I think Square did some amazing numbers. I don't know how many of you guys have Square right now, but I do really enjoy Square's overall performance. I have some of their highlighted stuff that I'm going to be talking about on tomorrow's episode. But just the overall increasement of gross profit, of adjusted EBITDA, their Cash App is just doing amazing. I think Square definitely did have a strong quarter, and it's one that's going to continue. But I bought some more. What did you buy, Kim, if I may ask? Yeah. So I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna purchase this week. I might sleep on it. I'm thinking maybe Shopify. I was thinking Shopify, but I haven't yet made my decision on it. And also, guys, if you are on the Discord channel, under resources, today I was just looking at some stocks. I pulled up like a screener. I put certain things, and I kind of share all these stocks that kind of met a few metrics of high revenue compounded, growing at a strong rate in the past 3 years, that they were profitable, that they had strong current ratios, and they were also positive in cash flow from operations. So if you guys haven't seen that on the Discord channel, and the Discord is free to anybody that wants to join, I have it under the resource tab. I don't have Discord open right now, so I can't really show that. But definitely, there were a few stocks there that were pretty interesting, and some I might take a look. Right, those are not buys. It's just ones that we should definitely take a look in for sure, because they've historically been growing at strong levels. They're profitable. They're positive in cash flow from operations, and they have great margins. So Kim, you bought. Let's see what you bought. You bought Etsy, a bit of Palantir, and Unity. I wanted to look more, but didn't have time. Nice. So Kim, do you buy? How do you buy? Do you just normally do weekly deposits on your portfolio, or do you only buy during certain times when you see like stuff down? Right. For me, I normally put money to work on a weekly basis. So I usually pick about 2 to 3 stocks to where I put them. Most of the time, those are usually in stocks I already have positions in. From time to time, I might open up a new position. I don't think recently I have opened up anything new though, right? But yeah, how did Datadog do, right? I think Datadog had earnings. They did have earnings. I saw them. That's DDOG. DDOG is up 6%, right? But it's still kind of flatlined to where the stock price was kind of at open today. And that's kind of what we're seeing with the stock market right now. I wonder how long this is gonna last. It's already been what, like 2 months? I mean, it can last a long time. It can definitely last a long time. But we had March already, we had April, and now we're May. So yeah, wow, it actually has been 2 months. Me too, weekly, but sometimes I keep cash to wait for some opportunities. That's smart, Kim. Definitely smart. One thing I do see too, Kim, is when things start to get overvalued, they start to buy like more value plays. So if there is a downturn, those value plays become a form of cash position that they can sell over time. Ark Invest does it a few times. I've seen them do it in this past year. So that's a pretty cool method of when things seem a bit overvalued, maybe buy a little bit less growth stocks and hold on to them until things go bad, and then you can use those as cash positions. Right. Stock Invest, continue to buy the dip. I mean, 2 months, yeah, right. And the great thing, let's see. Let me see if I can open this up. I want to see what Ark just bought. You should not be able to see my screen. Hopefully you're not. All right, here we go. So Ark just made, nope, this is not it. Damn it. Oh, here we go. I just want to take a look at what they purchased. Again, I don't follow them, but it's just good to, I don't follow their purchases, but I just like looking at what they do. So recently, what did they do? They bought Zillow, they bought Path. Path is one, UiPath. I don't know if you guys have been watching that video. That one looked a bit interesting. I'm so happy to talk to you. It makes me feel better. I mean, it's good. I think that's, remember, we're here for long-term investments, right? And I continue add on a weekly basis when I can. And right, I don't know how old you are. So I do think I am gonna be starting at this time, 9:30. I'm trying to get. I don't know if I should start, if I should do from 9 to 10 or 9:30 to 10:30. So that's what I'm debating. So I want to see how numbers are looking at 9:30. To see if maybe I should just start streaming 30 minutes later than usual. If not, I'll go back to that 9 o'clock time. They bought some Melly. They bought some JD. They bought some Bill. Bill, I don't know that one actually. They sold. They sold. What else did they buy? Anything interesting? A lot of movement. They bought some Unity, small position. They still buying coin. They bought some DraftKings as well. They bought Twilio. They bought some more skills. It's crazy. They're really, really pumping. Not pumping. They're really, really 20. They're really, really buying. Ah, you're 20. So yeah, then definitely this is, you have time on your side. I started investing I think at 21. So yeah, 21. It's been 7 years, 8 years. But even at 20, I thought I wish I would have started at 20. That time is such a great thing to have, especially in this investing world. They're really buying Twilio. Twilio does look pretty nice. Some more Unity here. They also got into Roku, a nice position. And you can see right here, this is actually what I was talking about, right? They kind of sell some of these slow growers. Ark does it a lot where they buy like Nintendo, right? Nintendo is a great company in my opinion, but not a fast grower. So they kind of sell and kind of purchase higher growth right now as things tend to be down. They actually did make a good purchase of Unity right here. That's pretty cool. They sold Workhorse. Wow, they've actually I don't know. I know they've been talking about Workhorse for some time, but it does seem like they sold a big position of that. And they're just continuing, right? Twilio, Skills, C are the ones they're really picking out. Barely, they were buying Glio too. Glio, I did. That's the other one I did an episode on, right? Glio was the safe space, fast space. I forget what it was called. The 3D printing. But yeah, see, like they sold Google, they bought Peloton. They were actually in a buying spree today. It's pretty crazy to see. Either they're mad, or they're wrong with. Either we're gonna be super right, or we're all gonna be super wrong. Investing in these growth stocks. And guys, while you're here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Not the subscribe button. Well, you can also hit that, but make sure to hit the thumbs up. It definitely helps so much with the YouTube algorithm. And it's definitely, if there's one way to support the channel, it's definitely with that thumbs up. Hey Keith, did they buy Niu? Was it here? I didn't see. Niu is, I enjoy that one. That's probably my first EV company that I had. I've expanded a little bit more. I didn't see Niu here. Maybe I might have missed it. Yeah, I guess they didn't. Maybe you just want to take. Yeah, hey Keith, Neo's electric. Yeah, not Neo. I know Neo, the electric moped. China, right? 90% of the revenue comes from China. About the other 5-10% comes from international. So they just released some new products too, right? And they have great sales. The amount of sales. The only thing, they are coming out with newer, lower margin items, so more economical scooters, mopeds to say the least, that are gonna hurt a bit on the margins. But I'm still holding on to them. Hey Keith, that one's been a great purchase for me, and I'm still super green in it. All right, for those that don't know, Niu stock. Down 4% on the day, right? From its 52-week high. The stock is down about 34%. It's super small market cap, right? Market cap of $2.4 billion. And if we take a look at their actual website, they are pretty much a moped company. Electric smart scooters. I don't know how they're real smart, but they're electric scooters. Products they have, right? They have different types of series. And again, most of the revenue right now is coming from China. and I actually do think that's a great market for them right now. But they are expanding into new international regions. If we take a look at Simply Wall Street, and I've done plenty of videos on them. If you guys ever want to take a look, just go to my YouTube channel. Let's see, your channel. You can just search Niu here on the search tab. And I think my most recent one was a month ago. But I've definitely done Niu numerous of times in the past 10 months or so. I think the first time I talked about it was in July of 2020. So in July of 2020, obviously great returns in there. But future growth, this is a company that's expected to grow, 28.5% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. They are profitable. They are positive in cash flow from operations. If we take a look at their fundamentals, they have a strong cash compared to debt, $1.1 billion of Chinese yuans compared to $180 million in debt in that same currency. So I definitely like Niu a lot. Shinaz, is AYX a buy? Shinaz, I don't have AYX in my portfolio anymore. I haven't really looked at it. And if you guys ever want to see when I purchase or sell stocks, I am super transparent in my Discord channel. I share every time I buy and sell. So you guys can take a look there. But AYX is definitely not, and my Discord is free. I don't know if I said that. But AYX, I haven't followed them too much. I was actually just looking at a screener, hey Keith, and it did show up in my list. I think I have it. It was right. Was it right here? Let's see, revenue. Was it not in this screener? Maybe it was in my other screener. But I do remember seeing AYX in the screener. I don't see it now. Maybe it was in the second one. Yeah, it wasn't on this one. Where I was just looking at companies growing that have grown at strong levels in the past, that were positive in net cash flow from operations, and also had a good current ratio. AYX came out on that list, but I haven't done any recent information digging into it since I last sold the company. So yeah, Matthias. Richards, I think Sony is a bargain at the moment. What do you think? What do I think about Sony? Let's see. So I'm happy they finally changed their overall ticker, right? They used to be SNE. Now they're finally SONY. I don't know when that happened, but after I saw that, I thought that was the greatest thing they can do. It was super cool for them to do that. Right, the stock right now, it is down about 16% from its all-time highs. Let's take a quick look at Sony, right? Damn, I keep putting SNE. So Sony future, the company's not a high growth stock, right? Expected to grow 3.3% for the next 3 to 5 years. Right, but it's been profitable, right? It's positive in cash flow from operations, so it's understandable for that type of growth. I haven't really looked too much at, I've heard, Matthias, maybe you might know better, but I heard they're kind of shifting their overall business. They might be selling some parts of their business. I wonder what parts of the business they're selling out and what they're gonna keep. Are they just gonna keep the high growth section? So that's definitely something important to take a look at for investors of Sony. But maybe if we take a look at Y charts, let's see what we can see here. Maybe Sony. Let's take a look at maybe EV to EBITDA forward ratio, and maybe let's see. I don't know if they have a PE ratio of forward 1 year. No, they don't. So overall, I mean, valuations for looking at it in just EV to EBITDA, it doesn't seem. I wouldn't say it's undervalued. It's not overvalued, but it's a bit higher than where it's normally been. Right? I forgot Matthias. I don't follow the company. Maybe the overall changing of their market might be a bit different. Hey Keith, I agree, right? And that's why I want them to continue to expand into different markets. Like Central America. Kim, take care. Have a good night. right? Like imagine like Central America, South America, right? Places like that, I feel it's also difficult to just get around with in a car. That mopeds, electric mopeds, might be the best and method getting around those. So I can definitely see, if once they start expanding to other regions, they can probably do pretty well. Stock Invest, what is your best SaaS stock? I would say I don't have it right now, Keith, but I would probably say Autodesk. Autodesk would probably be my favorite SaaS stock at the moment. Right? I feel like they're that one, or maybe even Adobe. Right? Adobe, those two are pretty up there. I can't really think of one from the top of my head right now. Besides those two, Stock Invest. What would you pick, if I may know? Those are the only two I feel like I really have in my mind right now. Autodesk and Adobe. Hey Keith, so you're saying the world has a shortage on chip, ASC technology based out of Taiwan. So what do they do? Hey Keith. Oh, and right, the overall shortage, yeah, for sure. It's definitely impacting the vehicle industry a little bit more right now. ASX stock. Advanced Semiconductor Engineering, also known as ASE. Group is a provider of independent semiconductor assembling and test manufacturing services with headquarters in Taiwan. This was pretty interesting, Keith, right? Market cap of $16.8 billion. And guys, while you're here, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It helps so much with the YouTube algorithm. I definitely could use the help there. But right, so market cap of 16.83. They are profitable. First thing I can see, right? They do pay some form of dividend. In the past, let's take a look year to date. Year to date, the stock has done pretty well. From its year to date high, the stock is down a bit, about 10%. Let's take a quick look at it here. ASX. Was that actually in my screener? I felt like it was. Nope, no, it wasn't. It did not show up there. So AXSX. Nope, that's not it. What is it called again? ASC Group. I feel like we might have. Not sure why it is not coming. It's not coming up. ASX. Can't see it here. That's pretty interesting. Normally I don't. Am I typing the right one? ASX, right? Yeah, it's not coming out for me for here. This one seems pretty interesting. I definitely would like to do a little more research on it. And it is traded in the New York Stock Exchange. Let's try ASE real quick. No, it's not this one, right? ASE Semiconductors. This is pretty weird. It's not coming out here in Simply Wall Street, right? Hey Keith. So Stock Invest, I never got your answer. What is your favorite? What is your best SaaS stock at the moment? So guys, are you guys purchasing anything right now? Are you guys just waiting it out, trying to see how things are moving on in the next few days before purchasing? Or are you guys just out of cash from buying all the dips? Or a little bit of everything? Twilio is definitely one that's I think it's looking pretty interesting. They are down a nice amount. I definitely want to do a video on them soon. Twilio and Shop, I think, are gonna be what I'm gonna be looking at in maybe tomorrow. Janaz, you bought Amazon. Nice. Amazon has been pretty quiet, right? It was up today. Today was a green day for Amazon, 1%. But overall, it's been pretty quiet, right? I think this one I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with the overall FANGs in the long term of things, right? Do you own any others of the FANGs, Shanaz? Do you own Google, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix? How is Netflix doing after they reported that earnings where stock price after they saw a decrease? Again, Netflix stock. Thank you, Google. Yeah, Netflix, I mean, it's been pretty quiet for the past year as well. I mean, it's crazy, right? If you started investing sometime here, probably most of your stocks, your market has probably been pretty quiet. Roll Taco, I have IAC and they're going to spin off Vimeo. Do spin-offs do good? Oh, Shanaz, you have all FANGs except Apple. That's actually, I want to say that's probably also my least favorite out of the FANGs. Not saying it's a bearish thing, but it is my least favorite out of them as well. Maybe it is for you. Maybe that's why you don't hold. But it is definitely my least favorite. And on real, I don't know, right? I don't think I've seen too many spin-offs that I've invested in. So there might have been recent spin-offs in the market, but I can't really think of some that have done well. So that's actually pretty interesting. Has anybody here experienced any of their stocks spinning off some of their markets? If so, how have that reacted? So Keith, you just went heavy on Jumia ticker. Yep, Jumia. Keith, may I ask, what was your main reason for going heavy on Jumia? Right, it is the e-commerce store in, is it Northern Africa or Southern Africa? I forget. But yeah, super small market cap. Are you looking here for a long-term investment, Keith, or are you doing some form of trade with Jumia? And was this is this an entry position? Is this your first position in there? Northern, yeah. I forget which portion it is. But they do a little bit more than just e-commerce, right? I think they do like food deliveries. They also have like a bit of fintechs going on them. So a little bit of all. They're like the perfect everything there in northern countries. Long term, Shanaz, I'm waiting for Nvidia to go down after earnings. You think they will go down, Shanaz? Not because you say that they're not. Watch. It's usually the market always does exactly what we don't want it to do, right? But yeah, I mean, Shanaz, if it does drop, this is one that I will continue to add, right? It's already a tier 1 stock. I think it is my biggest position right now. If this is, I'm pretty sure Nvidia is my biggest position. This is one, if I'm happy with my position size right now, like I said, number 1 position. But so I don't really want to add too much right now. If it does drop a nice amount, if it gives me again, if it gives me anything below 500, I'll continue to add and add more to it. But right now, I want to say I'm pretty happy for the moment. Maybe as my portfolio grows elsewhere, maybe I can come back to it. But Nvidia, number 1 position, is probably my favorite stock. I mean, you're right? We had Intel go. Intel did earnings, they were dropped. AMD did amazing earnings as well, and they are also down. So Ed, Palantir versus Twilio, what do you think? Right? I mean, just in which one would I like better? I know Twilio a little bit more than Palantir, right, Ed? So I would pick that one. But let's see Palantir, and let's put Twilio here too. I don't think any of them are. All right, they are actually EV to EBITDA and PE ratios. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second. So let's see what we're looking at here. Panel per financial metric. That's actually pretty crazy, right? If you're taking a look at EV to EBITDA ratio, Palantir is actually cheaper than Twilio. If you're also taking a look at PE ratio, a whole different game, right? Which one? Let me see revenue growth. I haven't seen what how Palantir has been doing. But Twilio is still pretty crazy, right? Obviously, two different markets, right? So very hard to kind of even put them in the same story, right, Ed? But I was just kind of looking at them to some extent to see where they kind of lie against each other. But I personally like Twilio a little bit more, just because I know a lot more about Twilio than I do about Palantir. How about you, Ed? Especially now with the stock price dropping, right? It's down 10% today. Right, that's insane. From its 52-week high, the stock is down 31%. I'm pretty sure Palantir is probably in the same boat. Right, but Palantir is really here, right? $20. It seems like it barely budges out of there. Really creating some strong support, in my opinion, there. What do you wait? What, if I may ask, Ed? What are you waiting on price? What kind of prices are you looking to get into for either or? Oh, now they're both at good prices. Yeah. I mean, I both different markets, right? It just seems where do you think the biggest growth is in the short term and in the long term, right? I think just the overall communication developing side of Twilio, I think that's a pretty cool market for sure. But at Palantir, right, it's just a monster. It's created a moat within a moat. This one is insane. Man, you're here in the United States, right, Ed? Just do fractional shares, half position in both. I don't know if you were here, Ed. I was just kind of looking at what Ark kind of purchased, and they bought a lot of Twilio. They continue to buy skills. I feel like you mentioned I think it was you. I'm not sure if it was you or Fizz that mentioned that they just keep buying the small cap. But they bought Twilio, and I saw that they were also buying Palantir. Yeah, Palantir has the government contracts. That's impressive, right? The government is very, very hard to leave once they find somebody. Twilio has great leaderships and culture. Have you worked with them, Ed? Has Twilio worked with your company? I know if they do, I mean, that means it's a guaranteed buy. So, Ed, did you make any purchases this week, or are you still waiting around for better prices and stuff? But yeah, so let's see what else were we taking a look at. I'm actually surprised. I didn't look at their earnings. But Peloton, right, was up 5%. That was pretty. I don't think I'll do a video on Peloton. My next video is definitely gonna be on Square. I don't know how many of you guys are in it. Up 1% right now. Earnings I thought were good. Actually up 2%. I thought their earnings were good. But this market is just not being nice to anybody. Except everybody else, right? The overall market is green. The whole market is green, except some growth stocks. Keith, any thoughts on Clean Sparks? Clean Sparks, right? Let's see what we can find. I don't have it in my portfolio. CLSP, no. CSPK, is that one? No, let me just put Clean Spark. So Clean Sparks, market cap $648 million. Super small company, right? That doesn't mean much. Company is growing at 31.4%, so a nice hyper growth stock. This company is not profitable yet, and it's not positive in cash flow from operations, but they are expected to be profitable within the next year and a half. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure cash flow from operations is also going to follow that type of growth. But at the moment, right, not profitable and not positive in cash flow from operations. So I would want them to have a very, very clean balance sheet. And they do, right? Fundamentally, they have plenty of cash in hands compared to their debt size. Right, but it's $26 million compared to half a $500,000 in debt. So strong cash position. Overall, fundamentally, the company looks great because it's not. Again, I'm not too sure about the market, Keith. I don't follow the market. I don't follow CleanSpark for the market. But overall, based on fundamentals, I want to say the first thing, because it's not profitable right now and because it's not positive cash flow from operations, I still would kind of consider it a bit of a speculative play, a small one. So my position size here wouldn't be too big. Again, I'm not too familiar in the market. That was just a quick fundamental. So Shanaz, you have Ark and Ark W, but now I'm nervous with Kathy's aggressive with buying and selling. Shanaz, so are you not liking that? I'm pretty sure. I mean, the overall purpose. I don't own any Ark, any ETFs. I don't think I own any of their ETFs. Let me really. Yep, I don't own any of their ETFs. But Shanaz, right? Their overall concept has been just innovative companies. So you would want them to be aggressive, no? If you invest in their ETFs, the whole purpose is for them to be aggressive in these growth stocks, especially while they are on sale. I can't foresee them buying like some form of value play, for example. That doesn't seem like their style. So to me, again, I don't own it, but it actually makes me respect. I don't know if it's respect or just craziness. That they're sticking to their guns, right? They said it during the whole growth bull that, hey, we invest in growth stocks. That's what we do. We invest in innovative growth stocks at that. And now when things are kind of doing bad, they're still doing that. Too much trading, paying more tax. But that's the other thing, right? Shanaz, they also mentioned they were an active fund. Kathy Wood said since everything is on sale, this means they will 3x in 5 years as opposed to 2x. That's insane. Imagine if that really happens. I'm not one to say it can't happen. It can 100% happen. And that's crazy, right? Ed, for long-term investors, right? We think 5 years is a short time, right? But at the same time, right, this kind of bearish market on growth stocks has only lasted 2 months, and I feel like people are already losing their minds. Like people that used to call themselves growth stock investors, after 2 months of downturn, they're now kind of like value players and kind of like bashing all these growth stocks. And it's like it hasn't even been 3 months yet. It hasn't been half a year. I can't imagine if this lasts more than half a year, more than a year, how we all gonna really be feeling about it. And it's really gonna show us if we're really the long-term investors we say we are. Which is, yeah, I agree, right? More taxes. Trading on more taxes. Vivian, very true, right? We got spoiled last year. And that's the thing. I feel like that's all we can remember, right? We can only remember last year where we all had 200, 300, 400% returns on certain stocks. So that's the only thing in the back of our mind. But before last year, right, returns were kind of normal. Oh man. So I feel the human mind just forgets too much, right? I feel like next year we're gonna remember that, hey, growth stocks are bad. So we're gonna kind of be like worried that growth stocks aren't gonna do that well, and then just that cycle continues, right? Of us just remembering what happened in the past and not really focusing how it can really move in the future. Hopefully, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start watching my YouTube videos that I made a year ago to remember what I felt during those times, right? Shanaz, Shitshu, let's see, which stocks are you buying these days? I think my most recent buys was I posted on my Discord channel. Feel free to join. It's free to anybody that It's free to anybody that wants to join. I'm as transparent as you can get. I post every time I buy. I post every time I sell there. I honestly can't remember what oh yeah, remember last week I bought Activision. That was my purchase for last week. This week I'm not sure yet. I kind of either was thinking of adding some more into Activision again, or I might go into either Shopify and Twilio. Those are the three in my mind right now. So that those, and Shanaz, which cybersecurity do you like? The one I like the most, it's not a true cybersecurity, right? But I feel it does fall into that market. It's more of a user authentication method. Okta at the moment, just because I've actually seen it in action. Right, Shanaz. I've used them for a few freelance stuff. I've seen Okta been used pretty frequently. So stuff like that, right? Seeing other companies using that system, I think is good for me to see. So right now, Okta is one I enjoy a lot. In the cybersecurity, it's not right. It's not probably a true cyber security company, but the extent of user authentication in platforms and online, I would consider that in that market. One I want to continue to look a little bit more into, Shanaz, is CrowdStrike. I do have it in my portfolio. I want to do another recaps on it to make sure if I want to add a little bit more onto that one. Shanaz, which one's your favorite cybersecurity? And I mean, I think the overall cybersecurity market is pretty cool. So even an ETF in the cybersecurity is, I'm pretty sure there's a few out there. I'm guessing cyber would probably be one. But I do think the cybersecurity is one that a market I can see continue to grow for the next 3 to 5 years, for sure. And sometimes it's not bad to hold some ETFs in our portfolio. Shanaz, CrowdStrike. Yeah, so I do have CrowdStrike. I don't think I've added into it recently. Let's take a look at Crowd. Right, Crowd EV to EBITDA ratio. It's as cheap as it's cheaper than it's been. It's kind of like in summer of 2020. And forward PE ratio is actually the cheapest it's been since, it seems, spring of 2020. What's going on, Polly? Glad to be here, Polly. Snowflake. You know, Snowflake, I don't follow that one too much, Polly. But let's take a quick look at it. Let's just add it here. And Shizu, Splunk is oversold. All right, so let's take a quick look at both of them. So first, let's look at both Splunk. At Splunk here. So that's ticker SPLK. Software, $19.2 billion. They provide software and cloud solutions that deliver an operational insight from the data generated by digital systems in the United States. Right, so not that big of a company, right? $19.2 billion. Future growth, this company is expected to grow 17.6% on average. So it's a nice growth stock for sure, right? If we take a look at earnings, they're not profitable yet, but they are expected to be positive in cash flow from operations within the next year or so. Because they're not profitable in earnings and because they're not positive in cash flow from operations, they are, I would say, some form of maybe like a speculative play, maybe a mixture of speculative, almost entering that growth phase. I consider growth when they're at least positive in cash flow from operations, but they are growing at crazy levels. I definitely would like them to have a very strong financial sheet. And let's see, they have about about $2.3 billion in debt and about $1.9 billion in cash. They are a bit leveraged, especially where we're at right now in the market. Seeing this type of leverage is not something I enjoy the most, right? So that's definitely something I would keep in mind out. I probably would do some research, right, and see when is this debt due. Is it due more than 5 years from now? Is it due more than 10 years from now? If it is, then that'd be a whole different field. But right now, I'm not liking the overall leverage because they're not even profitable or positive in cash flow from operations. If they were positive in cash flow from operations, that would be a whole different story. But they are growing at some crazy levels. Now let's take a quick look at Snowflake. So Snowflake, $61.7 billion in valuation, right? This is a company I am sure super high growth, 33.8. This is a hyper growth stock for sure. They're not positive in earnings. Again, this is very similar to the one we just saw. They are expected to be positive in cash flow from operations next year, but we can see, I think within the next few quarters, they should also reach that trailing 12 months of positive cash flow from operations. So this one's definitely, I would consider a growth stock in the growth stage. If we take a look at their financial health, this looks amazing, I can tell. They have no debt to their name and about $4 billion in cash. So fundamentally, Snow looks great, a little bit better, right? Fundamentally, what's going on, Tony? Fundamentally, I like Snow a little bit better than SPLK. Now let's take a quick look at valuations. Obviously, valuations are a bit different. SPLK for Splunk, and let's also put just Snow in here. And let's see what we can. So they don't have EV. I'm guessing for these two companies, it's going to be forward price to sales ratio. That'll probably be the best metric to look at. And yeah, right, forward price to sales ratio. Snowflake is cheaper than it's ever been, right? Snowflake, it's at 32.16 in forward price to sales ratio. I still think that's pretty high, right? The overall software companies right now are kind of hitting in the 15s, right? We had what, Fastly, but remember, Fastly is not expected to grow at 32% rate compared to how Snowflake is. So it's good to understand where everybody's at. Snowflake seems to be one of those true growth stocks for even the future. So Snowflake, right, 32.6 is 16 in forward price to sales ratio, cheaper than it's been. Still seems a little bit high valuation in just how the overall market is doing. Splunk's price to sales ratio is looking cheaper than it's ever been. So overall, I have no again, I'm not looking at the fund at the actual business right now, so that can be different. But just on fundamentals, Splunk definitely looks like it's undervalued compared to where it's been before. But is there a reason? Are they slowing down in revenue growth? Are they slowing down in margins expansion? Stuff like that can drive valuations to decrease. But if nothing of that sort has happened, then it is definitely over. It definitely looks undervalued compared to where it's been. Zoom Info. I thought I was ripping off the run of Zoom, but now earnings was good. 50% year-over-year revenue. Disney is always a crowd favorite. Oh man, Disney is amazing. I enjoy Disney just because they bought Star Wars and have given me some great stuff. Polly, Kathy's going to kill it. The killer whale against sharks. Killer whales will eat the shark any day. Ah, that's actually a pretty cool way to put it. But let's take a quick look at. So I was about to put Ed there. And Polly, I know you wanted me to take a look at skills. I actually just did a video on them. Polly, I took a look at their most recent earnings yesterday. So that video is pretty fresh. Definitely go check it out, Polly, if you want. And make sure, guys, to hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and also hit that thumbs up. It helps so much with the YouTube algorithm. I really do appreciate it. But Zoom Info, CI, right? Ed, yes. So Zoom Info, $18.2 billion market cap. This operates cloud-based go-to-market intelligence platform for sales and marketing teams worldwide. This is the one that helps you find types of leads, right? I think they do. I feel like I've done a video on them in the past. And the company is expected to grow at crazy levels, 25.8%. For the next 2 to 5 years. So this is another nice hyper growth stock, right, Ed? You mentioned they saw 50% year-over-year revenue growth as well. They are not profitable, but look at this. They're super positive in cash flow from operations. So this is definitely a nice growth stock. This is what I like to see. At least one or the other, right? At least profitable in earnings, or at least positive. I'm more of a cash flow from operations, if I may be honest. I could care less about earnings. As long as you're making money from your everyday business, that's just my main motto. Might not work for everybody. If we take a look at their balance sheet, this is where it tends to get a little iffy. they have almost a 2-to-1 ratio, more of 1-to-2 ratio. So they have, for every $1 in cash, they have about $2 in debt. And Polly, appreciate, surprise, and hit the bell. Keep it up. Appreciate. It really does mean a lot to get support. And new people coming into the streams, it means I should definitely keep doing them. Because one, I am, right? I love interacting with the people that watch and just overall talk about stocks. But Ed, right? So this is probably my first red flag right now, and it'll be like, hey, $1 for every $2 in debt. But at the same time, right? They are positive in cash flow from operations, so it kind of maybe allows us to overlook that. Institutions own most of it, so fundamentally, it doesn't look bad. The only thing I wish is they were a little bit less leverage. Now let's take a look at them in forward price to sales ratio. They don't seem to move too much, right? It seems like it's at the lower end of where they've been since January. Is this a brand new stock, or it's not that new, right? They did IPO. Was it in fall or December or winter of 2020? They are a recent IPO, I feel. But this is just forward compared to just January of 2021. Right now, it doesn't seem like it's a bit on the lower side from where it's normally at. Let's see, AV to EV. I mean, compared to its valuation, it seems to be on its average where it's normally at. Let's take a look at the overall stock price. So Zoom Info, CI, currently up 2% after those earnings. But look, this is crazy, right? It did great earnings. It had a down day. It's now kind of sitting at where it normally opened up. So they had great earnings, but it's only at where it opened up. But from its 6-month high, that pretty much just looks how the overall thing. It's down 21.45%. Let's see a quick look at their earnings. So CI Investors Relations. Zoom Info's Investors Relations. I just want to take a quick look at the highlights. So highlights, they are growth 50% quarter 1 2021 compared to the same time last year. They have now more than 950 customers with more than $100,000 in annual CV. What is that? ACV? Something annual. They usually keep it here. Yeah, this is a heavy. I kind of hate it sometimes, especially for investors. They have a good presentation. I like it. I want to say it just for streaming purpose, their presentation seems like it's just too much, right? For an investor trying to learn what the company is about, it seems like they're really doing well at describing what they do. But right now it's just too much of a screen for my brain right now. But yeah, I agree. You like it. It does seem like they go very, very in detail in what they do and how their company helps out. All right. But all right, guys, this is my time. It's been a nice hour here. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. I am streaming like always every Mondays to Friday, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm still debating what time I should stream at nighttime, if it should do 9 to 10 or 9:30 to 10. I still haven't discovered yet. I might be just, some days I might do 9, some days I might not do 9:30 to see which usually have more users to watch, right? But anything, guys, have a good night. Let's hope we have a green day tomorrow. We definitely deserve it, at least to start off the weekend, right? So take care, guys.